Hello. Thanks for calling Low Value Mail.
Yo, Danny.
You're on air with these big ass titties.
Oh man, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, they're very subtle.
They blend in. I can't even tell.
I know they're very subtle.
No one has talked about them once, so I'm glad you mentioned it.
And I feel like I'm a good model for the shirts.
Yeah, I that was a fucking great. So it went right to the Low Value Mail. I'm very tempted to buy a shirt if I mean I wasn't such a broke ass. But
yeah, that's fine. No, don't feel obligated to buy a shirt.
I am obligated. The show is great. But no, I have needed some advice actually. It's kind of a dare. I was more like encouraged to start hanging out with this girl I work with by another gal.
Okay.
And
why is it in the form of a dare though?
It wasn't a dare. I'm a fucking grown man, so I don't really do dares.
Right. Okay.
I don't have big titties like you, so
you could though. You could.
Yeah. Send them around.
They have a weird. I think they're off gassing right now, which I think is probably not healthy for me.
If I'm not buying a $25 T-shirt, I'm not buying $400 titties.
No, dude, I would not have bought $400 titties either if it weren't for the absolute generosity. And I don't even know if it's generosity because everybody just wanted to see me wear these fucking things.
It's scorn. People hate you, man. Yeah, they just wanted to see those titties.
I think I'm.
But no. So yeah, this other gal I work with, who I'm friends with, she encouraged me to start hanging out with this other gal, and hung out one time. Went and saw Nope together, which.
How was that?
The movie it was pretty fucking good.
Yeah,
it was a slow burn, but it was good.
Reviews. Everybody says some people say it was the worst movie, and then.
I mean, it's probably better than Bros. So if you had to pick one or the other,
well, I'll let you know because I'm gonna go see Bros wearing the big ass fake titties.
I hope so. But yeah, I hung out with that girl, had a good time. We made out in her car after the movie, and then hung out another time. Like smoking at my place, and tells me that she's still living with her ex-boyfriend. Ooh. And they still sleep in the same bed together.
Off.
And so I was just
no
like,
wonder
red flag,
they dared you. They probably knew that
because they're trying to pawn her off onto someone else, and she's still living with this other guy. So
like is it really like? See, that's the thing. It can't be like totally circumstantial unless they live in a studio apartment or something, and like they're like, no, yeah, she's like, I have nowhere to go and I can't sleep on the floor.
So this was in July, and no, they have a 1-bedroom, but they moved like a month later. But they're still living together, and she's like, "Oh, he's going to move out by November." So I'm like, 3 months? That's a long time.
That doesn't
like
explain
red flag.
sleeping in the same bed together. Like I lived with an ex after we had broken up. We didn't sleep in the bed still.
Yeah, I think there's a lot going on there. Like she's still attached to him, and he's like some other. Well, she told me that they slept with a gal together, and then he started seeing this other girl, like behind her back, the girl that they had the threesome with.
Oh yeah.
And so now she's just like still clinging on to him, and he's like just using her and trying to get out. So I was like, kind of giving her the benefit of the doubt because she's hot and she's cool.
Right.
But I was like, just. Definitely being yes, but so hung out, and she's like telling me about this shit, and I was just like, oh fuck, like maybe I shouldn't. And she's like, oh, what should we do next time we hang out? And I was like, I don't even know if I want to, but so she's like, oh, let's go downtown Portland, which is a hole now. She's like, let's go downtown and do some acid and go to this barcade. And I was like, no, I did no way.
Maybe mushrooms.
Like a nightmare.
Yeah, maybe mushrooms instead of acid though, because you're like, so what?
Mushrooms with a friend, not with some random crazy gal.
That's
so
true.
I was just like, man, this sounds like a recipe for disaster. I'm out. Like, no thanks. And she's like, oh well, the next night I'm babysitting this kid. You want to come over after he goes to bed?
What?
I was like, no way. Like, not even when I was 16. Like, let alone. Being almost 30, like what the fuck?
Going to some random. How old is she that she's babysitting?
She's 28.
Oh, okay. I guess that's not.
I
guess women. I mean, women are just
single women can get away with it forever.
Yeah, they're just nurturers.
So yeah, I was like, no, that's 2 horrible offers in a row. Like she's given up red flag after bright red flashing signal.
You worked with her?
I still work with her. So like after that happened, I was just like kind of like I not even kind of like I straight up just like was ghosting her. Like she'd come to my desk and I'd just like give her like one word responses, like clearly showing no interest.
Mm-hmm.
But like the last couple of weeks, she's been like really coming at me hard and just like trying to like give me food and like asking if I want to hang out. And I just like cannot keep making up excuses. So I don't know what to even do. Like, do I just tell her like, "Hey, you're too wild for me," or what would you do with that?
Yeah.
All that on your plate.
Yeah, that's a tough one just because it sounds like you just don't want to be like mean to her.
She's nice enough, but since we already like made out and I felt her boobies in her car, like I think she's expected more and like kind of sees me as like a quick getaway for her long-term boyfriend because they dated like 5 years, she said.
Yeah.
And so she's hung up on him, and
I would just straight up being like, "Hey, it doesn't sound like you're over your boyfriend yet, and you share a bed with him, so that's kind of."
I thought just, I mean, it's not the best move, but ghosting her was obvious enough.
Well, the ghosting thing is ghosting works when you don't work with them.
I know, but we don't even work closely. She like goes out of her way to come over to me and like give me food and stuff. I'm just like, dude.
Can you easily avoid seeing her on a daily basis if it wasn't for her?
No.
Well, if you see her every day, then there's your problem. If you were forced to see her once a day, you can't ghost a person you see every day.
I know, and she works in HR, so she's got all the power in this.
Yeah, she works in HR, and she's in this mental situation.
She is a case.
Yeah. Fuck, man. That seems like scary too, because one, I mean, you broke the main rule, which is, and this is, I mean, if there's been any takeaway of the last 5 years and all the Me Too stuff, don't fuck people you work with.
Well, apparently it was okay with everyone else, but yeah, being the straight white guy, I kind of am not allowed.
Yeah,
but
it's not
all
a good
the girls
idea.
were doing it.
Yeah, not a good idea.
Yeah, I'm
also,
that.
She's in HR. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. Who's going to report?
I know. And she's like, "Oh, I got the acid from someone else who we work with." And I was just like, fuck, dude, I've got no power in this at all.
Yeah. I would just say like, "Hey, you don't sound like you're," or just say, why can't you just say you're seeing someone? If you want to,
thought about that.
If you want to white lie your way out of this, just be like, "Hey, I'm seeing someone."
I am casually seeing someone else, someone else's, but yeah, I don't want to. I guess that's the move.
That's the move, because she's never going to verify.
People.
She'll never.
She seems like a freak, though. She might be encouraged. She's like, bring them into it.
Well, he'd be like, I'm not a freak like that. I think you're more worried that she's going to think you're like a dweeb, because you already turned down her drugs. She lives this super hardcore lifestyle where she does acid and goes to barcades and sleeps in the same bed as her ex-boyfriend and does threesomes and stuff. She's wild. It sounds like you're just worried about her being like, all right, you fucking prude.
I guess I'm more worried about my job and just it being like a hostile environment.
But I'm saying again.
I'm like, I'll own the dorkiness for sure, but I'm like, I don't want to fuck it up with my work.
Yeah, you got to lean into it, because the thing is like, I'm sure you can find another one of her outside of work.
So lean into it, like go do the acid with her?
No, lean into being a dork.
Yeah, that's my only option.
I'd be like, I'm seeing someone, and
or I just show up in the big fake titties and see what she does.
Honestly, the big fake titties might be a maneuver, but
that's like a get out of jail free card.
But it sounds like she's a freak. She'll be into it. She'll be like, "Yo, bring those fucking big ass fake titties over. I want to take them for a spin." And then it's you, the boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend, and her.
And he's slapping my titties around while I'm doing her.
Yeah, it sounds.
Oh man. Yeah, well, now it became good again. Now I'm back in.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if you're built for that life.
No, I'm not. But,
I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, it wasn't really a dare, but just some interesting shit going on right now. But
well, good luck.
Cool.
I hope it works out for you.
Thanks, Danny. Good luck with those tits.
Thank you.